right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Stormy start. Scattered strong thunderstorms may wake you up early Wednesday. The impacts they could have to the morning commutes.
Tonight, local gun sales are up following the Uvalde shooting. But do more guns mean more deaths in our region? Our I-Team looks into it. But first, just hours ago, Lewis Reed resigns after a federal bribery indictment.
Everybody deserves to tell their side of the story.
And why the St. Louis mayor says this is just the start. We start with breaking news. Good evening. I'm Ann Allred. Mike Bush has the night off. Right now, St. Louis police are investigating a deadly shooting. It's at a McDonald's. It happened within the hour at the McDonald's on Hampton near Manchester Road. Our Pepper Baker is live on the scene with the very latest. Pepper?
And just moments ago, police took the body of a man who was shot and killed in front of the McDonald's here off of Hampton Avenue. They said that it started with an altercation between another co-worker that led to the deadly shooting. Police say they got the call just after 8 o'clock. Two employees started fighting, came outside, and that's when the shooting happened. They don't know where the guns came from or whether they were already inside the restaurant, but they do believe the shooter had a gun in his possession. One man is around 18 or 19 years old. The other is in his 20s. St. Louis Police Lieutenant Colonel Deputy Chief Ronnie Robinson said there were other employees in the building, but no customers.
It's just very tragic that we consistently have these type of situations constantly. Young people, even older people also solving their problems and disputes with weapons. And weapons are so powerful these days. They're built to kill people. So it's just a shame that this happens over and over and over again.
Now, they said the victim was shot multiple times. They have the shooter in custody, and for now, the business is closed. Live in St. Louis, Pepper Baker, 5 on your side.
A live look at the Arch tonight. Right now, storms are moving towards St. Louis. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is tracking those scattered storms for the morning commute. And who will get soaked by heavy rain, Scott?
And those storms are a long way away from St. Louis, so we've got some time, but it's around daybreak when we'll expect to see those storms rolling our way. They are impressive tonight. As you look up here across parts of Nebraska along Interstate 80 and south of I-80. They've gone through Omaha. They're now getting into northwest portions of Missouri. This is an impressive line as it drops off towards the southeast. It is about 9 hours away or so from St. Louis. This is what it'll look like about 3:30 in the morning as it approaches Bowling Green and Herman, sliding towards the metro area here as we work through tomorrow morning's rush hour. Likely having some gusty winds and some downpours as it presses on through. It should weaken a bit as it slides east and southeast of St. Louis just based on the time of day. So that's our forecast focus for this evening. It'll be on those scattered storms arriving by daybreak. Downpours are possible. A few wind gusts we think to around 40 miles per hour with a greater chance of that being north and west of St. Louis. But a few of those storms will be strong heading into the metro area. And of course, you get heavy rain during the rush hour, and that's going to slow traffic down. We'll talk more about this system and the one that follows it and how that sets us up for a very nice weekend.
Tonight, new information about the resignation of Lewis Reed, the president of the St. Louis Board of Aldermen. Reed is one of 3 elected officials resigning following federal bribery indictments. Our Brent Solomon is live at City Hall to tell us what's next. Brent?
Well, Ann, Lewis Reed posting on social media today, quote, "Thank you, St. Louis, for the greatest challenge and honor of my life." For the former Board of Aldermen president, today's decision isn't sudden about face.
President, you plan to resign your post?
No.
That was then Board of Aldermen President Lewis Reed saying last week he would stay in office following a federal indictment. Fast forward to Tuesday, Reed sharing this letter publicly. Quote, "I am heartbroken and saddened to have to make the difficult decision to step down and end my time as president." He says he needs to focus on his family and the legal challenges ahead.
I think you can tell when politicians are acting from their heart, and he's one of them.
Emily Collins is disappointed. She worked on campaigns to get Reed elected.
I will always believe that he's a good character, and somebody who did great things for the city of St. Louis.
Reed is one of 3 elected leaders to step down. He, former Alderman John Collins Muhammad, and former Alderman Vice President Jeffrey Boyd were all indicted on federal bribery charges. Alderman Joe Vollmer is now preparing to wear a new hat.
I am the interim president of the Board of Aldermen. I assume all his duties.
He says it's a temporary move until a special election in November. When that time comes, Vollmer says he will not run to be president full time. Instead, he will seek re-election as an alderman. As for the alleged actions of his former counterparts,
In people's worst dreams, this is what they think of. This is something you see in the movies, and that's how people assume actions are occurring. When you're elected to serve people, and you're held to a little higher standard.
I just think the court of public opinion has been trying him so far, and I think that...
Today, Mayor Tashara Jones said St. Louisans deserve better. Tomorrow morning, she'll address reporters right here at City Hall, and we'll be here. Tonight, I'm live in St. Louis. Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
Charges of corruption tonight involving a high-ranking official in St. Louis County. Today, an indictment was unsealed against Anthony Weaver Sr. The charges accuse him of fraudulently obtaining COVID relief funds in exchange for a share of the proceeds. County Executive Sam Page fired Weaver. Page's political challenger, Jane Duker, pinned responsibility on her political rival.
There has to be a full audit of all the COVID funds that were dispersed, especially in the small business relief program, and we need to see how far this goes.
Weaver, who previously served as the administrative assistant to a former county council member, was indicted on 4 felony counts of wire fraud. If he's found guilty, he faces up to 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Tonight, a balloon release was held for a man shot and killed near a playground in Ferguson. 21-year-old Terrence Taylor was shot Sunday night at the Pleasant View Garden Apartments on Canfield Drive. More than 100 people showed up tonight at the scene to remember him. Taylor's aunt says he made mistakes in the past, but turned his life around.
I called her and heard my sister scream like that in the phone about her baby. It took everything out of me. She lost her baby over something stupid.
Police say a large fight led to the shooting. They're still working to identify who is responsible. 2 teenagers who escaped from the St. Louis County Juvenile Detention Center in Clayton are back in custody. The 2 17-year-olds escaped from a window back on May 29th. Police are not revealing where the teens were found or the crimes they were being held for in the first place. Tonight, St. Louis police are looking for the person who tried to set a popular Central West End restaurant on fire. Retreat Gastropub says someone lit the patio on fire. This was early Sunday. It destroyed furniture and decorations. Owners say the vandals also broke windows and tried to set the front door and the building on fire. The restaurant staff says despite the damage, they will remain open for service. Tonight, a stinky situation is piling up in alleys across St. Louis. It's been nearly 2 weeks since St. Louis leaders promised consistent trash pickup. Our Ryan Henson is live in Sherman Park, where neighbors tell him it has been weeks since they've seen a trash truck. Ryan?
And they're just tired of seeing dumpsters like this with trash overflowing in their neighborhoods that they work pretty hard to kind of keep up. And the city says they're working hard to rectify this problem. They say more hands are needed to make sure problems like this get thrown out.
Problem is, I'll pick this up, but there's no place to put it. So then I got to walk quite a distance to find a trash bin that has place to put stuff. But somebody's got to put the garbage in there tonight, so I don't want to add to it.
Susan McCormick walks a mile a day for cardio and to clean up her community.
I actually take the bags out and take them down to another container. I know if I don't move it, we're going to have rats and possums in here, and then tomorrow when I go to pick up garbage, it's going to be all over the alley, and it's going to take me twice as long to pick it up.
She says trash pickups have become inconsistent in the past few months in her South City neighborhood. That's around the same time Gerald Shepard in Sherman Park noticed the same issue.
At this time now, we got bags in the house that we don't know where to put them.
Gerald says it's been 2 weeks since his last pickup. His garbage is supposed to get picked up twice a week.
Well, the problem is, like I said, it brings rodents. It makes people take their trash and have to throw it on the side of the dumpster.
A city spokesperson says the refuse division works hard to pick up trash at least one time a week. They are short on helping hands. Recently, 9 trash truck drivers were hired to alleviate this nuisance. McCormick and Shepherd both acknowledge the uphill battle the city faces. They just ask for transparency and solutions.
People have said perhaps we can go ahead and use the recycle bins until you can solve this problem, at least have a place to put our trash, or outsource to a company who can pick up the trash that you're not picking up.
The Citizen Service Bureau, that's who the city says you need to call if you see a dumpster just like this overflowing in your neighborhood.
Ryan, I applaud Susan for doing that every day for her community. And you mentioned there's 9 drivers that they just hired, but what else are they going to do as far as the city to fix this?
Well, they're still looking at the citizens to help become the solution, just like Susan. Obviously, they want to get people behind the wheel of more trash trucks to make sure all routes across the city are covered on a regular basis. And guess what? There's a $3,000 signing bonus, too. So they're trying to work hard to entice people to get behind the wheel.
The gun control debate leading to a gun buying spree in Missouri.
We see an instant rise in gun sales, usually 3 to 5 days after an active shooter event.
Tonight, both sides of the emotional debate over access to firearms here in St. Louis.
These are the storms we're tracking for Wednesday morning. After that, one more chance of showers and storms before we head towards the weekend. We'll break down how that could impact your weekend plans.
Responsible gun owners are fed up with the Second Amendment being abused and hijacked by some deranged individuals.
An impassioned plea from actor Matthew McConaughey on gun control. The Uvalde, Texas native spoke at today's White House press briefing, calling on lawmakers to take action after the tragedy in his hometown.
Can both sides rise above? Can both sides see beyond the political problem at hand and admit that we have a life preservation problem on our hands?
Today marked 2 weeks since the massacre at Robb Elementary School, which killed 21 people, including 19 children. Tomorrow, a 4th grader who survived that shooting is expected to testify on Capitol Hill. Tonight, we're hearing a bipartisan group of senators are close to a deal this week on gun safety measures. Those measures include red flag laws, expanded background checks, resources for mental health, and school security. The same type of gun used by the shooter in Uvalde, Texas last month, an AR-15 style rifle, is in high demand. A local firearms dealer says despite talks of expanded background checks and efforts to curb rifle sales, his business is busy as ever. Tonight, the I-Team's Paula Vassan examined what's going on.
I get scared. I get real scared. It just takes something out of my heart to see kids, that innocent kids. It don't make sense to me.
Shootings seem to be happening everywhere, from schools to grocery stores to churches. About 119 people in the U.S. have been shot to death every day since January.
This not gonna stop. It's getting worse and worse every day. Guns are destroying us in our community.
The thought brings Michelle Jackson to tears.
We ain't done no wrong. They shot him in the brains.
2 months ago, she lost her son, 25-year-old Myron Davis. He was shot in the head in Jennings while sitting in the driver's seat of a car. Jackson still doesn't know who did it and why.
I don't know what he got shot with, but it was powerful. I can't sleep. That's every time I come home, I think about my baby.
From mass shootings to targeted attacks, Jackson believes more guns mean more innocent people are dying.
They'll get these guns to a 5-year-old if they got the money. They need to do something.
While guns are sold legally at licensed gun stores, Jackson has seen the system break down.
People coming there buying guns for these young people's kids out here, you know. Kids carrying guns at 10 years old now.
The system crumbles, she says, when there are so many ways to sell or steal a gun. About 30 miles away in St. Peters.
Sporting rifles, AR-15s.
A different side.
We see an instant rise in gun sales, usually 3 to 5 days after an active shooter event.
Since 19 kids and 2 teachers were gunned down in their Texas elementary school, gun store owner Paul Bastien's sales are up. at his shop Ultimate Defense firing range. They've increased by about 20%. And he says after background checks, he only turns down about 1 in every 4,000 people.
Maybe once every 3 months.
Do you think this increase in gun sales is driven partly by fear?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
1 in 5 guns he sells are rifles.
AR-15s, those types of things.
They're capable of firing more bullets faster. 7 states and Washington, D.C. prohibit assault weapons. Missouri and Illinois aren't among them. And Bastine believes that's a good thing.
The only way to stop a guy from shooting is to shoot him.
Researchers from one nonprofit that advocates for gun safety say stronger gun laws prevent gun violence. They point to weak gun laws as one reason why Missouri has the 5th highest rate of gun deaths in the U.S., following Mississippi, Alaska, Louisiana, and Alabama. In Missouri, the rate of gun deaths has increased 70% from 2011 to 2020, compared to a 33% increase nationwide. In Illinois, it's increased 64%. Many experts say it's because of how easy it is to access guns. Bastine disagrees, believing criminals will always have a way to get their hands on guns. He says responsible gun owners shouldn't have to be deprived.
It is about having the ability to defend yourself.
For the I-Team, Paula Vasan, 5 on your side.
Since the Uvalde shooting, President Biden has been calling for more restrictions on gun ownership, citing the impact on our children. Gun advocates like Bastine argue potential legislation is partly what's driving gun sales, as people worry it may get harder to get guns. Let's get back to Scott, looking out at a beautiful night so far. Scott.
Yeah, nice evening around St. Louis for sure. Temperatures have been on the warm side. Some of the outlying areas starting to cool off a little bit. Here we are out into St. Charles County, 72 degrees. Looking back towards St. Peters. This shot's pretty quiet right now, but you know what? About 6 hours from now, we'll be able to see lightning off to the west and to the northwest, if not a little sooner, because of these thunderstorms. They're pretty impressive as they've been rolling across parts of Nebraska into Iowa, now getting into far northwestern portions of Missouri. They've had severe thunderstorm warnings with them, producing some damaging winds and some large hail, and they are continuing to rapidly slide on to the southeast. So we would expect this to be about 8 hours or so away from St. Louis, getting in here around 5:30 to 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. We're at 79, so we're still looking at pretty mild air out ahead of this system, so that's going to help keep them going through the overnight hours. As we get towards 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, we're still in the upper 60s, close to 70 degrees, and here comes the line of showers and thunderstorms, downpours, gusty winds. North and west of St. Louis, there may even be a little bit of small hail left in these storms. The overall flavor will be for them to weaken some as they approach the St. Louis area. So we're not thinking we get into widespread severe weather, but certainly still a strong storm or two. And that means some noise with that lightning and thunder. And of course, we'll get a break after it pushes away for a while before the afternoon hours feature a few more showers and storms popping up. And a couple of those south and east of St. Louis could indeed be strong as well. Now, at the moment, we're pretty quiet around St. Louis, 79 degrees, our dew point 62. We made it up to 86 degrees this afternoon. Looking to tomorrow's severe weather threat, it's mostly south and east of St. Louis. This would include what's left over of those storms regenerating as we go into the afternoon. Then we get a break on Thursday, and then this is what we'll wake up to Friday, another batch of showers and thunderstorms, and there'll be a couple of waves of them possible on Friday. But after that, we are set up for a relatively quiet time heading towards the weekend. So it's quiet right now, should get noisy towards daybreak. 82 for your top temperature tomorrow, in between the chances of showers and storms. Certainly the stormiest time in the metro area is likely to be first thing in the morning. Quiet Thursday, Friday, showers, storms only in the upper 70s. Weekend looks nice. Look at the heat and humidity. Next week, mid-90s for highs by Tuesday, Wednesday, probably through the rest of the week. And those heat index values could be above 100.
That's is that normal for mid-June? Probably
it's
not.
It's a little
yeah.
on the toasty side.
All right, Scott, thank you. Here's Hannah Yates.
The Cardinals went to extra innings for the 3rd game straight, and Oakville native Pat Maroon is shining again in the conference finals. That's next in sports.
If you have a tip for the 5 on Your Side I-Team, call us at 314-444-5231 or email 5onyourside@ksdk.com. All calls and correspondence will be kept confidential.
The Cardinals had a day off yesterday, and now they continue their road trip in Tampa Bay as they open a 3-game series with the Rays. Let's head to Tropicana Field. Dakota Hudson getting the start on the mound tonight. Only 2 hits allowed by the bottom of the 7th by Hudson before Isaac Paredes hits one deep. Bader makes the catch, and the Rays take a 1-0 lead late. Runners on first and second in the top of the 8th inning. Bader hits one to right field, and this ball is down. Lars Nootbaar is able to score and tie this game at 1. This game would go to extra innings for a 3rd game straight. Nootbaar comes in clutch with the bases loaded in the 10th. The Cards are able to score and take a 2-1 lead. It looks promising. The Rays have one last chance. Drew Verhagen on the mound, 1 strike away from closing it out. And Taylor Walls hits this ball off the foul pole for a 3-run walk-off shot to win 4-2 in a heartbreaker. Here's Ollie Marmol following the game.
Yeah, you're going to have games like that. The guys battled. It was actually a really well-played game. Dak did his job, did a really nice job. That's the best we've seen him. Hell of a play by Nolan on that bunt. That was impressive. And then left the ball up for Homer, but well-played game.
Whitfield, MICDS, Fort Zumwalt South, and St. Dominic all won girls soccer state titles over the weekend. For the Crusaders, this isn't their first time wearing a crown. In fact, it's their 3rd year straight. Tonight, St. Dominic celebrated their three-peat with a banquet in O'Fallon. The Crusaders defeated Nearings 1-0 to win the Class 4 state title. They're now ranked 5th in the nation by the United Coaches Spring Ratings, and the team says this title is extra special.
Well, to have this particular group is very special because they're the first to win 3 in a row, and it's history making for our school, and our school community is very proud of what they were able to accomplish this year.
I mean, Coach Keller always says that we're not defending our title like we already won it, so we just work to get a new one. And so I think that it's just, I mean, all the practices, all the games, all the scrimmages that we do against JV, I think they all just help, and it's very rewarding to win.
The Celtics return home for Game 3 tomorrow in a split series with the Warriors, and they need to bounce back quick from their 19-point loss. St. Louis native Jason Tatum's 28 points was the highlight of the game for Boston. Their 12 turnovers in the first half alone was not. As we get closer to Father's Day this month, Jason was asked about being a father to his son Deuce, who was born the same year Jason joined the NBA at 19 years old.
My mindset was not to sacrifice either, that I was going to be the best father I could as well as the best basketball player. You know, it's kind of like we're growing up together. And as he's gotten older and I'm going through my career, sharing these moments and experiences together as, you know, as we grow up. And, you know, I think it's the coolest part for me. So I don't know if it's intentional as much as it's just natural in what we do.
Really special. Back to Tampa, where the Rangers are facing Pat Maroon and the Lightning in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals tonight. Talk about a great start here. Here comes Zach Bogosian. He muscles his way to the net, and the Oakville native is there to finish it off. That's Pat Maroon giving Tampa a 1-goal lead. You'll love to see it. 3rd period, Tampa with a shot, and it's Steven Stamkos who's there for the rebound goal as Tampa wins 4-1 to tie the series at 2 apiece. Today, Tiger Woods confirmed he will not play in next week's U.S. Open at Brookline. The 15-time major winner says his body needs more time to get stronger for major championship golf. He added that he does plan to play in Ireland next month. And that is it for sports, and back to you guys.
Thank you, Hannah. He wore the birds on the bat on the front of his jersey. Now the number on Matt Holliday's back can save you money at the ballpark this weekend. Oh, yeah. The annual Folds of Honor campaign, sponsored by Schnucks, is now underway. From now until the 4th of July, you can round up at the register. Money raised goes towards scholarships for spouses and children of fallen and wounded service members. Five on Your Side is a proud partner of the campaign. Tomorrow is National Best Friends Day, and Budweiser is celebrating Best Buds Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina in its new ad. They've been teammates for 17 seasons and are just 10 starts away from beating the record for starting battery mates. Budweiser's offering 2 giveaways tomorrow. You can learn more about them in the As Seen on TV section at KSDK.com. Matt Holliday will be inducted into the Cardinals Hall of Fame later this summer. But for this weekend's home series against the Pirates, you can get loge or pavilion seats for just $7. Field box tickets are $17. You can buy them on the team's website. $1 for every ticket sold will go to Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. Let's get to Scott for a final check of the weather.
You know, we're tracking these storms right now, Ann, that are to our north and west, and they're packing a punch right now as you get up into far northwest Missouri, back into southeastern portions of Nebraska, just coming into parts of Kansas. But as they approach St. Louis, they will tend to weaken some. That being said, watch out tomorrow morning for the rush hour, potentially some gusty winds to about 30-40 miles per hour, and some downpours could slow things down. There'll be another chance for a few storms in the afternoon. They'll be scattered around. And then next week, we're heating up. Enjoy this weekend. That process is really going to get warm here as we get into next week.
And watch Today in St. Louis for all the latest on that rain. That is all for 5 on Your Side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next. His guests tonight, Melissa McCarthy and Henry Winkler. Have a great tomorrow.